Hello, my name is Mike and it has been 73 days since my last Games Workshop pre-order, which is a pretty good record for me, to be honest with you, but that is not for the want of trying. So this will be a video of two halves. We'll get through the pre-orders for next week first, which is dominated by Warcry, but there's only a few releases, so it won't take as long. And then I will get onto the fiasco of Saturday's pre-order for Kill Team Gallowfall. So we'll start with Warcry. So Nightmare Quest comes out for pre-order next Saturday, and that is priced at £110. So the price hasn't changed. However, I would beware if you're going to pick up this box. Generally, these boxes are in abundance. There's plenty of them, and you can get them for a couple of months after they come out. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case for this one. Number one, the Kill Team Gallowfall fiasco kind of made me a bit nervous about this because it is a big box and it's got lots of content and that kind of thing. So it may have been underproduced for whatever reason. We'll discuss that a little bit further when we get to Gallowfall. But the main thing for me really is the contents of this box. Now it does have some really nice warbands in there, but the big one for me really is in the terrain. There is a new Realm Shaper engine. Now, I think that that's going to be popular. It's the first one we've had for a while. And I think that there will be lots of Age of Sigmar players that are looking to get this box just to secure that piece of terrain. So for £110, you can get that. You can sell all the stuff individually on eBay and that kind of thing. So I think it's going to be quite sought after. So as much as normally with these Warcry boxes, they're available for a fair amount of time, I'm wondering if this one might be different. Also out, we've got the release of the Askurgan True Blades, which are priced at a ridiculous £37.50. I have no idea why they're that expensive. Well, I do. That's just the general Warcry pricing these days. But I'm flabbergasted by the prices, honestly. The same sort of price, exactly the same price for the Claws of Karanak. £37.50. Crazy pricing, but it is what it is. So now let's discuss the disaster that is Kill Team Gallowfall. So this was available for seconds when it went on pre-order on Saturday, and that is the case for every single territory around the world. So I released my thoughts just after trying to pre-order on Saturday, where I couldn't get a copy, and kind of shared a bit of a whingy moan about the situation, that kind of thing. And some of the territories had yet to go on pre-order then. The main one really was North America, where it did go on pre-order and it sold out within 3 minutes. So clearly not enough of this box made. Now actually, as a follow-up later on, I just want your thoughts. So if you go to the community section of my YouTube profile, you'll see there's a poll on there. So if you tried to pre-order Gallowfall, let me know on that poll. So basically, were you able to get a copy, and were you not able to get a copy? Let me know yes or no. It'd be interesting for future content, because problems like this just aren't going away. Judging by the thousands of this box that have been selling on the likes of eBay and that kind of thing, there's clearly a big problem here. Now, I think that if you look on eBay, you'll see that you've got some sellers that are selling 10 copies of this box, which I know for a fact is a lot more than practically all of the retailers got. So that just tells me that this is just being scraped off of people's web stores. They're just taking all of the availability, using bots to scrape them off there, and then selling them on eBay and that kind of thing. And I think that's basically what's happening to the Games Workshop web store. I think that's where the problem is coming from, is that as soon as that pre-order goes live, the bots are just scraping all that stock and leaving very, very little for everyone else. And that's not the only problem. So it's very well known that Games Workshop pre-orders go live at 10 AM on Saturday morning. Now, I've seen lots and lots of reports for people that logged in at 9:55, 9:56, and were able to order their copy then. So not only have we got the problem of lack of availability, but if you go in there, try and log in at 10 a.m, which is the time for pre-order, the stuff's already gone. So not everyone has got a fair crack of the whip. So current prices on eBay at the moment are around about the £250 mark for this box. So yeah, should be 110, going for 250, which tells me that it is a lot more sought after than I personally thought. So for example, I can't believe how many people are prepared to pay these real scalper prices for this box. It's really outrageous. So what it tells me is that, number one, there's huge demand for this. They are selling for £250 on eBay and people are buying them. I personally won't. I'm extracting myself from that problem. I think it's a really disgusting tactic. So I'm leaving that well alone. But I know for a fact, really, Games Workshop, if you had produced 10 times as many of this box, you would have sold them. Now, the common excuse I'm seeing for the shortfall of this box in particular is that all of the production is geared towards 10th edition. So the 10th edition box is coming out in a couple of months and they are just putting all of their production into that. I don't buy it personally. I know that there will be a very heavy demand for those boxes, and I know that there will be massive efforts by Games Workshop to produce as many as possible. But if I look at other releases coming out recently, there was no shortage of the Underworlds box. There is no shortage of the Horus Heresy tanks, which I can see in abundance on web stores everywhere and that kind of thing. Yeah, I think that this has been specifically underproduced in order to sell more of the individual contents later on. So when the individual warbands come out and that kind of thing, I believe that they are expecting people to buy more of that, and I ain't buying it, to be honest with you. I mean, let's face it, when this stuff gets released in its own boxes later on, so its own individual Kill Team boxes and then the terrain sprues and the books and blah blah blah, all that different stuff, let's face it, all of that stuff has already been produced. They are not going to do the print runs for all the paper stock. They are not going to do all the injection moldings for these warbands for such a small release now and then produce exactly the same things later on to release separately. They are already produced. They are waiting in the boxes to go out. So when you think about distribution for these boxes, I mean, this box would have been finished production around about at least kind of 6 to 8 weeks ago, bare minimum, because that's the amount of time it will take to ship all this stuff around the globe to all the various hubs that sell it. So all this stuff was produced a long time ago. They are not going to produce this again, the contents of this box. They're not going to produce them again just to put them in individual boxes later. It's just not worth it. It doesn't make any sense financially to produce twice or anything like that. So the fact is that this stuff is already available. It's just sat in those separate boxes and we'll just get them whenever they decide to release them later on. So another potential reason for limiting sales of that box is this box, the Boarding Actions box, which has never been out of availability and has always been hanging around on the Games Workshop site. So I reckon that this probably isn't selling, and by putting more of this terrain into the Kill Team box, they are just they're just making this situation work because they'll never ever sell it. So plenty of this stuff is available on the reselling market, and I think that they may have limited the box of Gallowfall just to prevent this issue from getting even worse. So should they have released the likes of Gallowfall without the Boarding Actions terrain in it as well? So just the 2 warbands, the book, and that separate sprue. I think there's a good argument for that, and I think it'd sell very well, but clearly they haven't thought about it, or they didn't want to do it. I love Kill Team. For the current, actually for both editions, I own absolutely everything. So everything from first edition and everything from this edition that's come out so far, I own absolutely everything. I don't play it all, but I am a collector of these boxes, and you know that's just the way I have gone about the hobby for this so far. I ain't buying these when they come out individually because I'm not paying almost double the price for what should have come in this box in good, sufficient supply in the first place. So I'm going to leave it there. God, that was more whingy than I expected it to be. Lots more complaining than I was expecting. But it is what it is. I'm actually quite bitter about this. I know it's silly. It's a silly way to behave. But yeah, I'm really annoyed by this. But there you go. It is what it is. I'll leave it there. I've got lots of content coming out this week, similar to this really. I'm going to talk about shortages for 10th edition when it comes, because I am expecting them, because I've been speaking to retailers about their experience with their sales reps from GW and that kind of thing. So I'll be going through that, and I will eventually be putting out my roadmap responses for Kill Team and for Warcry, and giving my wish lists and what I expect to be in there. So predictions and a wish list for those. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Much appreciated. Have a great week.